Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, Muslim and Christians, non-Muslim and non-Christians, I greet you. My topic of today is why Sunni Muslims in Africa fighting each other, fighting other Muslims, other religions, and destabilizing Africa's peace and its coexistence. Many Africans were given the chance to study Islam free in the Arab countries, among others, Saudi Arabia. I do not know what is wrong with the IQ of Africans. How can someone who is not an African or your family give you something free and you don't question it? There is nothing free in this world. Even God, who created us, wants something back from us, let alone a mere human being. According to Abrahamic religion, God wants us to worship him. That is why he created us. If these Arabs really care for the Africans, why are those African men and women who work in those Arab countries sometimes not being paid for 8 to 12 months? Why are the African maiden used like a sex machine by the Arabs, but they give the so-called Imam and Sheikh of Africa free food, accommodation, clothing, and pocket money? I hear that the African Imams and Sheikh like spaghetti and chickens. So the Arabs use this food to entice them. These Arabs use Islam as a mechanism or tools through which the African Sheikh and Imams could work for them instead of working for God. These Imams and Sheikh are like recruited armies who were used by the Arabs to fight for the cause of Abdul Wahhab Ahli Sunnah wa Jama'ah. These African Sheikh and Imams are initiated into the doctrine of Abdul Wahhab. If you want to know more about Abdul Wahhab, you should visit the British Museum. You will see how Abdul Wahhab collaborated with the British and Americans to create his own version of Islam. But if it is not all Muslims, many Muslims, especially the followers of Abdul Wahhab Ahli Sunnah wa Jama'ah, are oblivious to this fact, because they were not trained to think or to make a thorough research, but to obey, memorize, and reproduce. All those Imams and Sheikh holding doctrine degrees achieve them by means of memorizing, obeying, and reproduction. That is why when they are confronted with complex social problems, they resort to abusing, fighting, or tagging you as a kafir, which means non-believer. This was the case in Ghana during Eid al-Adha. The foreman of Ahli Sunnah wa Jama'ah was seen fighting against his followers. They even drag each other to court. Although they have the Quran in which you can find everything according to them, but they drag themselves to court. As we speak, this is what is going now in Burkina Faso. The arrest of Imam Kindu of Burkina Faso has to do with a law adopted by the Burkinabe cabinet on 19th March 2026. The law prohibits the establishment of places of worship in public institutions, including government offices, hospitals, and military barracks. Also, too much religious noise is not allowed. This law applies to all religions in Burkina Faso. Only Sunni Muslim community who view this law as a restriction of freedom of worship. The government has tried to explain to Sunni Muslims that this law does not prohibit prayer in public institutions, but this law is intended only to prevent the establishment of permanent places of worship. The law stated that you cannot make a hospital, military barracks, and other public institution every day or every week as a praying places, because Burkina Faso has many religions and it is a secular state. If other religions also want to use these places as their permanent praying ground, who should the Burkinabe government grant access to? Given the fact that Burkina Faso has many religious denominations. Even within Muslim denomination, there are different groups. The Sunni will not allow Tijaniya, Ahmadiyya, or Shia to lead them in prayers. So this is common sense, because Burkina Faso belongs to everybody and not only Sunni. On 24th May 2026, during a weekly Quranic sermon at his mosque in Ouagadougou, Imam Kindu delivered a sermon criticizing the law. A video of the sermon was widely shared on social media. The Imam said the following: does prayer affect the president? You see, the Imam is making it personal. The question should be, does prayers in public institutions affect Burkina Faso, the people of Burkina Faso? The answer will be yes. And he goes further. He said, does it undermine the power of Ibrahim Traore? No. The question should be, does it undermine the power of Burkina Faso? The Imam went further to say the following: even if you do not pray, love religious people. You see, here he's making it personal, because Traore, he's a Muslim, he pray, and he also loves religious people. But you are trying to tag him as if he's a kafir and he doesn't love Muslims, you see? And the Imam goes further to say, if you want to peace, leave religious people in peace, and God will leave you in peace. Here, the Imam is threatening the president and inciting the citizen against Ibrahim Traore. The Islamist insurgents has been active since 23 August 2015 in Burkina Faso. And they kill innocent people, destabilizing the peace of Burkina Faso. And they are Muslim. As Imam, you did not see anything wrong with this, because you are also, or they are also, the followers of Abdul Wahhab, aka Ali Sunnah wa Jama'ah, as you are. But you are threatening Ibrahim Traore by saying that if he wants peace, he should leave Ahl Sunnah in peace, and God will leave him in peace. You see? So you are trying to incite the people against Ibrahim Traore, as if he doesn't like peace, and if so, God will not leave him in peace. According to news, the Imam was arrested 2 days later. However, after the arrest, so they arrest him, and however, after the arrest, hundreds of supporters took to the streets of Ouagadougou to demand Imam Kindu release. Security forces dispersed demonstrators using tear gas. According to security sources, nearly 100 people were detained and transferred to a military camp for what authorities describe as civic and citizenship training. These 100 people will be sent to the war front to bring the peace their leader is talking about. So they should go and fight the Islamist jihadists who are disturbing the peace of Burkina Faso, but not Traore. Addressing the nation, Traore did not mind words regarding his expectation for the country's youth. He criticized the prioritization of religious studies over technical education, arguing that the nation requires engineers and technological expertise to rebuild its shattered economy and infrastructure caused by the extremist jihadists. He said, I am a Muslim too, but everyone in Burkina Faso has the right to practice their own religion. There will never be Sharia in Burkina Faso, he said. To those Burkinabe studying Sharia law in Saudi Arabia, do not return to Burkina Faso, because instead of acquiring technological knowledge and skills that help develop our country, you choose to study Sharia law. Stay where you are. You will not be allowed back here. This kind of education was designed by Abdul Wahab for the Sunnis. Allah in his Prophet say in Quran al-Karim, Lakum deenakum waliya deeni. To you, your religion or your way, and to me, my religion or my way. But Abdul Wahab said, Fakat deeni, only my religion or my way. So you have to obey me, whether you like it or not. So, my sheikh, African sheikh, and African imam, you have to think about it properly. What we need from you is not Sharia. It's not dawah. We need technology. We need, because according to you, there are everything in the Quran. There are ayah. Even there is a verse, Surah Al-Hadid. It is a verse in Surah Al-Ayah. And astronomy, biology. There are everything in the Quran. I think you should focus everything on this development, but not Sharia and Dawah. Peace be upon you.